بارئ الخلائق أجمعين سيدنا وسندنا وشفيعنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذين اصطفاهم الله أجمعين. أما بعد. Allah said in the Holy Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya ayyuhan nas, qad ja'akum maw'izatun min rabbikum wa shifa'un lima fi as-sudur wa hudan wa rahmatan lil mu'minin. Sadaqallahu al-aliyyul azim. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My respected brothers and sisters, my respected Shaykh Mudarris, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I start in the name of Allah Azza wa Jalla, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent. Allah Azza wa Jalla, the Creator of the beauties around us, and the one that's responsible for the creation. I thank Him for creating everything in such beauty and such perfection. For He has not only created, but He has created in the best of ways. He is a Lord that created out of mercy. A Lord can normally create in a haphazard way, but Allah created in even the best of forms. This is beautifully out of His mercy. For in the first place, Allah did not have to create. He chose to create, and He chose to create in the best of ways and in the best of forms. Allah says in the Holy Quran, الَّذِي أَحْسَنَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقَهُ, the one that perfected everything that He has created. Therefore, the perfection that we see around us is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Us as human beings, we're a miracle from Allah. Because at one point of time, we were nothing and we became something. This truly in itself is a beautiful miracle and a beautiful reality that we must all acknowledge. Once we understand this, we realize that Allah has not created us in some sort of haphazard way. He's created us, and out of His mercy, He's given us an intellect. He said to us that, إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. We have given him a direction. Either he picks to come towards the good, or he picks to go towards the bad. We have given him a direction to go to. You find that Allah has given each one of us an intellect. But from His justice, He's given us a path. He's told us that I have given you an intellect, but I'm not going to leave you there hanging. I'm going to give you the pathway, and I'm going to give you the standard. The standard, of course, is the Holy Quran. The infallible book. Because if the Holy Quran was a book that made mistakes, then it would make no sense for Allah to give us His book. Because He's guiding us to the wrong, and on the Day of Judgment we can say, Allah, I did the wrong because you guided me through the wrong with your book. Therefore the book must be infallible. That's out of one level from the justice of Allah. On the next level, Allah has not only sent us the Holy Quran, yet He has sent us ones that interpret the Holy Quran. And those people must as well be perfect. Because if they weren't perfect, then that would be injustice from Allah. Why send us a book that's infallible, a book that makes no mistakes, yet the ones who translate this book make mistakes? That makes no sense. Therefore, the ones who must translate the Holy Quran must be ones that on one level actually practice the Holy Quran in a perfect way, and they are able to translate for us the Holy Quran. These people are none other than our holy prophets and our holy imams. They're a necessity in life. The Quran is a book that's silent, but our imams and our prophets are ones that speak the Holy Quran. They're ones who act the Holy Quran. Yet they must be perfect, because the Quran preaches infallibility. The Quran is perfection. The ones that must translate this Holy Quran must as well on this level be ones that are perfect. Or else, how would they translate the Quran for you and I? As in Allah says, follow this prophet, follow this leader. I said, Allah, I followed him, but he told me to do this in the Quran, and it was a mistake. So on the Day of Judgment, you can't hold me reliable for the mistake that I made, because the prophet preached this mistake. Therefore, it makes no sense. The prophets and imams must be leaders that are perfect. Sadly, we see people today are very adamant in telling us that it's otherwise. We must understand that on the first level, prophets are perfect. Some might say, brother, how are prophets perfect? The Quran clearly says, Adam fa'asa Adamu Rabbah. Adam did something that went against his Lord. How can this be possible? How can prophets make no mistakes? How come, for example, For example, we say that in the special ayah we say وَذَنُّونَ إِذْ ذَهَبَ مُغَاضِبًا فَظَنَّ أَن لَن نَقْدِرَ عَلَيْهِ فَنَادَى فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ أَن لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ. How can Prophet Yunus not have made a mistake? How can Prophet Yusuf not have made a mistake? Prophet Muhammad made a mistake. Some people are salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Some people preach that these prophets made mistakes and they bring Quranic proof that their sick minds has accepted as a way and to accept prophethood and imamate being something that there is no infallibility. When in reality, once you understand these verses in the Holy Quran, you'll know that these verses are actually a way that an individual, and number one, on the first level is that it tests our intellect. It's a test for us as human beings to see, are we able to take this Quran and be ones who work with it to accept the concept of infallibility? Because Allah doesn't only want us to be ones that just read and not be able to think about it. As in, there are some brethren from different sects of Islam that say, brother, don't use your mind. And I've heard them say this. Don't use your mind. Just follow. Is this accepted? Can you just follow? You must be one that, as well as having the Quran and having leaders, one that always thinks, one that uses your intellect. For at the end of the day, what's the use of having the intellect if you don't use it? What's the use? There must be a use for it. Allah has given you this intellect and told you, use this intellect in order for you to be able to come closer to me. Therefore, we must understand that in the Quran, if there's a verse that seems to make prophets ones that make mistakes, on the first level, this is actually one and a verse in the Quran that tests us. On the second level, of course, is an answer to this. For example, when examining the concept of Adam, some say Adam made a mistake. فَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ. Very clear. Adam did asyan to his Lord. That Adam sinned. Adam went against what his Lord has done. When you examine this, you realize that heaven is all good. There is no bad in heaven. That's why on the same level we find that there are no bad angels. Some say, oh, brother, Satan. No, Satan is a jinn. We find that there are no bad angels, no mistakes that occur there. Therefore, the test hadn't started for Adam yet. The test started once Allah took him and put him onto this earth. Therefore, that's when the test started. Some say, brother, how do you know? We realize that, for example, when a child is born, they're not aware of the concepts that happen around them. They're not aware of this. Adam, on the same level, was not aware of what was happening to him. Therefore, once he ate from the tree, Allah quickly says in a verse that he used the leaves around him to hide his private parts. Why? Because he didn't understand the test. He just realized, and he just became into a level of bulugh where he understands that now the test has started. Now I realize how the way everything works around me. Realize that when he ate from the tree, the test had not started from Allah Azza wa Jal. The test only started after he ate from the tree. Therefore, what he has done before cannot be considered asyan. It cannot. And of course, there are descriptions and ways to interpret the acts of other prophets that have been done. For prophets, it's impossible for a prophet to sin. Let me give you some logical proof. A prophet is sent down as a guide. A prophet is sent down as a person who guides all human beings. If a prophet's made a mistake, then at the split second where he is one who guides, there is someone who has not made the mistake that this prophet has made. And because there is someone who has not made this mistake that the prophet has made, someone has the ability and has the chance to correct and teach this prophet. And this goes against the irony of the situation, because the situation says that the prophet is the one who teaches, not the one who is taught. Therefore, these kind of situations are not acceptable. Because the irony is, the prophet has been sent to teach, not be taught. If he makes a mistake, then in that split second, someone has the chance who has not done the same mistake to come and correct them. For example, prophet lies. A person next to him who isn't lying comes to him and says to him, "O Prophet of Allah, you lied. Don't lie." Do you understand it? Allah has sent him as a guide. these types of situations shouldn't be done because they belittle the Prophet in the first place. As in, what kind of Prophet would you follow if you see such a situation happen? It's unacceptable. The concept of infallibility, my dear brothers, is very adherent. And it's very important. Sadly, some are very adamant against it. People are very adamant in trying to tell us that this concept is wrong. What's their proof? They say, for example, that all human beings sin. And this is something that we see around us. All human beings sin. Therefore, if you